Colin, big weekend of Rugby League down in North London. Obviously, the 1895 and Challenge Cup finals at Wembley. But on Friday night, London Skolars, the annual Friday Night Lights game is on. How big is that to the club going forward? And, of course, for all those people heading down there this weekend to turn up for?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's massive for the club. It's one of our big events, fundraising events as well as anything. But yeah, this year especially with the Challenge Cup being down the road on White Hart Lane is really special for us. So yeah, you know, obviously we're expecting that. We're hoping for a big crowd. We're hoping the weather stays half decent. And yeah, we're looking forward to a good evening. You know, it's become a bit of a tradition with a lot of our fans and the travelling supporters for the Challenge Cup. So yeah, it's a tradition we really enjoy. We have a good time on the night. You know, we obviously hope to have a good match against Oldham, but it's an opportunity for us to really kind of promote ourselves within the community and promote the game in London.
Yeah, you're coming up against a team who aren't in the best of form, but I'm guessing it's not necessarily the result on the pitch that is the main thing this weekend.
No, obviously, you know, we've had a tough season, so we want to turn up and put on a good display. We've got hopefully a couple of lads back from injury. But yeah, the result obviously is important, but the whole event, this weekend's coming should be a celebration of Rugby League. You know, hopefully we'll have a couple of good games at Wembley on Saturday, and we can kick that all off with a good game on Friday night.
You mentioned that it's something for the whole of Rugby League. Clearly, the big debate at the moment is what will Rugby League look like going ahead now that IMG have taken a stake in it. It's a little bit low on detail, but do you see that as a positive? Do you think that's a way of re-establishing Rugby League in London, perhaps?
I certainly hope so. As you say, there's not a lot of detail at the moment. On paper, it sounds like an exciting proposition, you know, getting involved with IMG and all of the benefits that can bring to promoting the sport. How that's going to kind of help us in London at the moment, I don't know. I mean, I'd certainly hope that we can possibly, you know, get some of our RFL distribution back through it. You know, this year has been incredibly difficult for us with the drop in the RFL distribution. And I think both of the London teams needs a little bit of help to really get us back on track. So we're both struggling this season. And I'd like to see the game expanded. Although, you know, I'm not going to mention any names. I know there are some clubs that seem to be against that and want to keep it up in the in Rugby League heartlands. But I do think, for the benefit of the game, it should be a national game, and there should be more than just us and Cornwall really representing the South.
And if IMG sort of came to you and said, we're looking at a strategy, we think that London is a key element to it, and that's going to help us not only promote the game in the media, perhaps, but there's a talent pool there that perhaps always leaves the area rather than stays in it. And they gave you a blank sheet of paper and said, we'd like your recommendations of how we could help the game initially, but going forward, what do you think it looks like? Do you have sort of 4 or 5 key points that you'd be looking to stress to?
Yeah, I think it all starts at grassroots level. You know, we as scholars, we try to get into a lot of schools, but I think we would need some help just to really increase our presence in the local schools, get the game played at junior level a lot more. At the moment, you know, one of the problems we have is that if we want to match at junior level, you know, we're asking parents to drive their kids an hour away, an hour and a half away, just to get a game because we have no local competition. So I do think, you know, some help in actually a grassroots level, at a junior level, just supporting the clubs, whether that be supporting with maybe making transport available. I think we need to start at that level and build up from there. What we've got this year in Skolars is a lot of homegrown players that have come through the junior ranks. But we know that the good ones are going to go. And that's part of life, that we understand that there's a pathway there. And we want our juniors to follow that pathway, to come up to playing in our open age teams, and then hopefully to get into either an academy at Broncos or play for us. But we want to stay in London. So yeah, I think that there's a lot that can be done. But I think we need to just sit down with the RFL and IMG and really discuss and see what their feeling is with regards to support, whether that be financial or not. But yeah, we do have some ideas of where we can take it, and we want to work closely with Broncos as well to promote the game in London. And not just talking about London Skolars, I think, Rugby League in London needs to expand and maybe be better advertised. But yeah, there's a lot of things that we can do.
Do you see League One continuing as it is, or do you see things changing in the third tier of professional rugby league?
I think it's going to be very difficult for it to continue as it is. It's difficult to say, but because again, we don't know what's going to happen with IMG. But I would like to see it continuing, but I do fear that maybe it will become an amateur league. I'm not sure that there's enough interest in the sport at this moment in time to warrant a third professional league. I hope I'm wrong. And obviously we work towards continuing as a professional league, but I'm not sure that there's interest there. I mean, I think I was speaking to someone over the weekend about rugby league and the attendances, and it's been pleasing to see this year, that its attendances seem to be great again. A couple of years ago, I was getting very, very worried. Just even looking at Super League, and you look at empty stadiums and then obviously I think maybe the pandemic in some strange ways helped that, because there's more interest coming back after the pandemic. But we need to maintain it, but we need to increase attendances. I think across the country, not just in London, but obviously especially in London, there's not enough. We haven't got enough outreach to local communities, and it's predominantly a football area. But yeah, we shall see.
Just a couple of thoughts spring to mind with what you've said there. Have you seen any boosted interest, because the game's now being shown regularly on Channel 4 would be the first question. The second one is, it's 42 years since Fulham started, and so you can't really even call London a development area anymore. Is the next step maybe a centre of excellence for the south of England? Because you say you want to work closer with the Broncos. There's some good work being done in some of the community clubs in and around London, West Warriors, just to name one off the top of the head. And obviously it reaches out towards the east. And Bedford women, had a good win this week, and as did the Broncos women. Do you see that it now needs to be more of a concerted, cooperative effort rather than going on?
Yes, I do. I mean, I think, we've spoken to Broncos a lot over the last 2 or 3 years, trying to figure out what we can do to strengthen the game in London and the South East. And certainly the plan is to get involved with the community teams, which we've been doing this year, to try and build up the game, not just in London, but across the South East. It's something that we want to continue doing. We've looked at setting up a ladies' team ourselves. There simply isn't enough teams for them to play against, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, I agree with you. It's not just a London thing, it is a South East thing, and we will be working with other clubs going forwards to kind of promote the game and expand the game in the South East. With regards to your first question around Channel 4, I think it's been excellent. I think the coverage on Channel 4 is fantastic. I think it's very, very well presented. I think Helen Skelton does a fantastic job. And I think it is making a difference, and long may it continue.
Colin, I know you're a busy man, so thank you very much for your time. Best of luck on Friday. Hopefully you get a big crowd down there for the game against Oldham, Friday Night Lights, and for more future and success in the future, even for Rugby League down in London and with the Skolars.